I won't leave that there. You can't judge a book by its cover, and I'll tell you why. Some of you have heard this story, but I'll tell it again. It's a friend of mine came to town from, drove his little hippie bus all the way from San Francisco, California to my house back in the early 70s. And he came into my house and he said, "Hey man, have you heard Mr. Rogers?" And I said, "Yeah, you know." He said, "No, you got to watch Mr. Rogers." So I watched Mr. Rogers and I liked him. And, you know, that's cool. Everybody likes Mr. Rogers. And then he said, "And have you heard the Tiny Tim record?" And, you know, I was like everybody else with Tiny Tim at that point. All I knew was Tiptoe Through the Tulips. And I said, "No, man, I ain't listening to Tiny Tim. I mean, I'm sorry." And he said, "No, you got to listen." And it turned out to be one of the best albums I've ever heard, I kid you not. I mean, Tiptoe Through the Tulips is what it is, but the rest of the songs on the thing are magnificent. This is going to be one of my wife's favorite songs and one of the reasons I'm doing it. But I ran into Tiny Tim years later. I was in LaGuardia Airport going to play Carnegie Hall with my son Steve, who bless his heart's in Paris tonight. Can't be with us, but I was sitting there talking to Irvin Salke, who some of you know and love, and Irvin was getting on the plane to go back to Memphis, and we were coming off, and we were sitting there talking. And so, from the other gate, deplaning comes Daniel Patrick Moynihan, who's one of my heroes, and I was shy to speak to him, but in front of him was Tiny Tim. And in his hand, he had a brown paper sack with his ukulele sticking out of it. So I said, "Hello, Mr. Tim," and he said, "Woo!" This is a George M. Cohan song, so for that right now. All I want is $50 million and sealskins to protect me from the cold. If I only knew how stocks would go on Wall Street, I'd be living in a mansion filled with gold. If only I owned the Pennsylvania Railway, and if Tuesday will only be my wife. If I could only stay 16 forever, then I know that I'd be satisfied with life. All I want is wheat rum for my breakfast and champagne fountain sizzling at my feet, while Rockefeller waits upon the table, Burl swing playing while I eat. If only I own the Western Union cable, and if Radar John would only be my wife. If I could only stay 16 forever, then I know that I'd be satisfied.